Hello everyone! So after making my last video, I decided there's just so much that needs to be said on the topic of domestic violence, and most especially emotional abuse. So I'm going to be making at least one video a week for a while to try to help educate the public on this issue. And there's so many topics I'd like to discuss, and the list just keeps getting longer, so I've decided I needed to start at the beginning. So tonight I'm going to be defining domestic violence with a particular emphasis on emotional abuse. Now, domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain, maintain control over another intimate partner. And the specific subcategory of this is emotional abuse, which is undermining an individual's sense of self-worth and or self-esteem. First, it's really important to remember that abuse can happen to anyone, any age, any gender, any sexual orientation, religion, it doesn't matter. My experience is as a female victim, so I'll be largely describing examples from that point of view in my future videos. Of course, 85% of abusers are men, so take that for what you will, and remember that abuse can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. For example, it's not uncommon to find abusers at school or in the workplace. Abusive behavior often extends into other aspects of an abuser's life, not just his romantic relationships. Second, abuse can be blatant or much more subtle. I'm going to be particularly focusing on subtle emotional abuse because I think it poses more of a threat. A victim can't seek help for a problem they don't know exists. Many victims have no idea that what they're experiencing is categorized as abuse. Additionally, abuse can occur in many different ways using any number of methods, and believe me, there are a lot of methods. The blanket is so broad that every emotional abuse case is unique with its own combination of techniques designed to devalue the victim. It isn't just name-calling, it isn't just this or that. It can be anything designed to undermine the individual's sense of self-esteem. But so often we try to fit a concept in this small box that when our own experience doesn't fit, we walk away believing that we must not be really experiencing abuse after all. And lastly, it's not unheard of to see two different kinds of abuse taking place at the same time. Emotional abuse is often comorbid with many of the other kinds of domestic abuse, including but not limited to physical or economic abuse, for example. But what makes emotional abuse so dangerous is that it is oftentimes, but not always, invisible to the public eye. Physical abuse leaves bruises and scars, but emotional abuse scars the psyche of the victim, and those scars do much more lasting damage than a bruise can do, though, as I just said, emotional abuse and physical abuse often go together. Emotional abuse can also be hidden behind closed doors. A man that seems perfect and charming to the public may be emotionally abusive within his own household. It can be hard to find that crack in the perfect persona that the abuser is displaying to the public. And what's more is no one is going to want to believe that this charming man, who may have garnered so much respect within his community, is actually abusing his wife or girlfriend. Unfortunately, our society tends to cast victims of abuse in this guilty light, as if they caused it to happen, or as if they were asking for it in some way, and I'll talk more about that in a later video. But it just makes it that much more difficult for victims to get help, because these women are told that if they just cook him better dinners or give him more sex, then she will be considered a good wife and the abuse will stop. When in actuality, if the wife is doing all of these things, she is affirming to the husband that what he is doing is okay, because the abuser is getting the result that he wants. It's called enabling, and it's a really vicious cycle that I'll be covering more at a later date, but really that's all for tonight, and I've left a few sources at the bottom of the video if anybody cares to dig a little deeper. But till next time, everybody have a lovely evening.